Vlogcast may occasionally contain explicit content that makes it not safe for work or for minors. It also doesn't provide an excuse to use the same words on Bay 13. Normal big footy rules still apply. Alright, so this is the vlogcast for round 23 of the 2013 season. Fyfie back again after a week's layoff.
Woohoo!
I'm joined tonight by Dan.
Evening, everyone.
Forgot to mention Wrangler first.
Oh.
The Cat Wrangler.
You beauty!
Paddles.
Hello.
And joining us for her first edition, is Sooz.
G'day.
Sooz is the first girl we've ever had on the vlogcast. You're breaking new ground, Sooz.
Oh, that's cool. That's pretty cool, then.
Bombers 2003 is absolutely shattered. It's not wish yet.
He's a dick anyway.
Next week we can break even more ground and get Boss on so we can have the first openly gay vlogcaster.
Well, I'll tell you what, there's some even more shocking news than that because Fyfie is back. After going missing last week, he's back and he's 800% confident. I wonder why.
Well, we had a win, and contrary to reports, it was a pre-planned absence, and I just want to state that this has been a trial by media, and I've been denied natural justice in the process of you all blaming me for not being here last week. But, and it's a big but, unlike other people who use the same terms, I am telling the truth.
Right, see, I just heard you were feeling a bit off colour, is that right?
A little bit, yeah. Bad batch of KFC.
Was there any scratches on the Ferrari?
I had to clean up a few things for the Wrangler.
So, Fyfie, you were feeling off colour. I'm glad you admit that. And a bad bucket of the old KFC. So, it's true that you had a case of the squirts then?
No, just...
Fyfie, you had a bad case of ring burn. Bad case of Carlton ring burn.
No, not quite. That was a different kind of sickness. That was disgusting. That was worse.
You're back. You didn't squib it. You're denying it.
Yep.
You take full responsibility for everything that happened in last week's vlogcast, though.
Yeah, I take full responsibility for anything that happened. If Chief feels that any rules were broken last week, then I will gladly step aside, taking full responsibility for the Wranglers' actions. But now that the truth has come out, I'm very confident in my position.
I'm getting away with a fine for whatever I did, but you could well and truly get a 12-month ban for whatever happened in last week's vlogcast, Fyfie.
I redacted a lot of what happened.
It needed to be redacted, especially the stuff about Sheedy.
How's your tan?
Not good enough, but downstairs is good.
You still got that 3-inch monster.
Not Nicky Dell. Come on. I reckon we'll start with Geelong. Sydney from last week's games. Geelong were impressive. They were pretty good down the highway. Chapman came on, played well. It's a bit ominous for other teams. And Dan Hanbury put on another great grimacing performance again.
You mean Hannah's?
Hannah's. Grimace Hannah's.
Were there looks of anguish on his face?
Oh, yeah. I'm pretty sure he came back on and played. Reece Shaw, he kind of hobbled off. Like, not much had happened, but Hannah's, yeah, he came back on the ground. But, geez, when he went off, you'd think he was the one who did his ACL.
Courageous.
Yeah, he's as gutsy as they come.
Did Paul Roos commentate that game?
No, I don't think he goes down to Geelong.
Oh, I would have asked the teach what he thought, but he's not here.
Yeah, the teacher's bailed on us. He's got tests to mark.
Personally, I think the Cats looked pretty good.
I think they were good, but I think we should talk about an equally impressive team on the weekend, who were Hawthorn. Hawks were very impressive. North Melbourne, look, they struggled with... I just don't think Brad's come up with a game plan that lasts 4 quarters.
Well, you know what? I wanted to ask Sooz about one thing. Being that you're an umpire...
Yep.
Because, see, not everyone on the Bay knows who you are anymore because,
Yeah,
you have been around for a bit, let's say. So I'd like to sort of, have a get-to-know Sooz kind of quick chat. Dan, I'm sure that you know Sooz better than anyone. Sooz, just to let us know about who you are. What do you think the main qualities a person has to have to be an umpire?
Well, you basically got to have the guts to do those sort of things and help out. You've got to have the willingness to help out.
Okay.
If you don't have the balls to help out, you're basically fucked anyway. So.
And you've got the balls?
Yeah, you got the brains and you got whatever else, yes.
So
yeah.
Self-restraint, patience, cool in a crisis, not as important as having big balls?
Yeah.
Okay. Sooz, tell us how you became a North girl.
Nah, I'm not going to tell you that one. I'll keep that one quiet.
Really? Because I heard a rumour you used to barrack for the Mighty Hawks.
Yeah, I used to, but I'm not telling you why. I'm not telling you why I changed.
A lady must not reveal all her secrets, Wrangler.
Well, that is true, and you need to respect the lady's privacy. I'd like to ask you about, I think that's an important point that Fyfie made about Brad's ability to coach. Do you think there's something that he can do to improve his coaching, Sooz?
Yeah, maybe, but it's pretty difficult. He's got a reasonably young list, so maybe it's just like we may need to get some experienced heads on our list, I suppose, and
Some good
yeah.
heads.
Boomer's not experienced enough for you.
Susie, we're going to play a little game of word association. Are you familiar with that game?
Yep.
Like if I say sky, you might say blue.
Yep.
So
Yep.
we're just-
First thing comes in your head, you say it. Yep.
Yeah, so we're going to give you a word association test, all right? So north,
Winners.
lying,
Shit.
Ballarat,
Freezing.
big footy,
Crap.
respect,
Awesome.
umpiring,
Fantastic.
Brad,
Cousin.
pizza,
Yeah. Great.
Chief.
Yeah, he's alright.
Bill,
He's a dickhead.
reap,
He's a wanker.
horse,
Who the fuck is he?
farts,
Gross.
Ben Warren,
Pass.
success,
Awesome.
honesty,
Cool.
Essendon,
They suck.
love,
Yeah. Awesome.
footy.
Awesome.
You can't say awesome to everything.
Yeah, I was about to say you should say awesome and find out what the word for that is.
Awesome.
Limbo club,
Fucking shit.
oh, it's harsh. Sex,
Pass.
beach,
Fantastic.
cheese,
Okay.
dogs,
Stink.
forum.
Yeah. Aussie footy's good.
Okay, I'm done.
Sooz, have you always passed on sex?
Yeah. I've always passed on that.
All right, now,
She also passed on Milky Warren too, just saying.
It's not for everyone, Wrangler.
that's true. I understand.
Not everyone has a choice.
Not everyone is Bombers 2003 and thinking about it every day.
That's true.
One more word association. Bombers 2003.
He's a dickhead.
Oh, he's as bad as Phil. What do you think of the messages he sends?
Awesome.
I reckon we should talk about the most impressive team over the weekend, the 800% confidence club, the Tigers. What was it? Must have been a 100-point win.
It was 120. It was double the 10 goals. It was 10 goals times 2. So it's
Wow.
1600% confidence. Thank you very much.
Wowee. I'm just saying right now, the Tigers are getting pretty excited.
Are there any KFC boy sightings?
Only at the Pink concert, if anyone's seen the most recent upload.
No.
I just want to put this out here, but Wrangler, I think you should give a heartfelt thanks to Richmond.
What?
Well, we did beat Kevin Sheedy's mob by 120 points in his special game.
I was loving it, I know. Look, I do want to put out a heartfelt thanks to the Tigers. They absolutely got the job done on the weekend. They sent Sheedy off in a body bag. They well and truly took care of him. They sent him off in absolute ignominy and basically made an absolute mockery of his entire career. All for nothing, really, when you go out like that. Most people who are true champions always go out on a high, but Sheedy went out on the all-time low, and clearly he's lost the list because none of them played for him at all.
One last thing on that. Sheedy asked one thing of his players, and that was to break even or win the first quarter, which they lost by 10 points. So just an extra little bit of a beat down from the Tigers there because, 1600% confidence hat on. We're fucking amazing.
What did you think of the guard of honour at the end of the game for Sheedy, Wrangler?
Overblown. I mean, the guy he's a coach, not a player. I mean, that's for players. It's ridiculous. He's the biggest attention whore there ever was. There's a guy called Jose Mourinho in the Premier League, and those two are freaking separated at birth. Both of them think they're bigger than the club. I mean, I'm surprised that Sheedy took the job on when they refused to call the club Sheedy FC.
He ran through the banner too, for what it's worth. First, before the players. But yeah, we'll move on to the next game, and I think Carlton, everyone was barracking for Carlton this week, doesn't happen often, and I don't think they could deal with the pressure.
I was going for the Dons.
Is the barbecue back this week?
I think they're going to ditch the barbecue and wheel out the ham truck after that one. That was just, it's free ham time at Carlton.
They were definitely hamming it up on the weekend. 20-something points. That was a joke.
Yeah, Essendon's
The
best
best bit
win
was
for the
Carlton's
year.
accuracy.
For
It's really
zero.
cold.
And that Muppet McGuinness, who twice in the last 2 minutes, I'm pretty sure it was twice in the last 2 minutes, KO'd Cade Simpson, basically. It cost him 2 goals because the moron, he must have been coached by the same development coach as Bootsma, runs into Simpson when he's got the football. In the last minute, Zaharakis runs in and kicks the goal.
You know what? The funniest thing is they're probably going to be playing finals and not North, which is a disgrace because North are the best team. In fact, I think right now North are better than maybe even the Tigers. They're very good. What do you reckon, Sooz?
Yeah.
Should North be playing finals?
I actually agree with what the coach said. He actually
I knew
told
that.
everyone that we aren't ready, but I guess we could. and we probably scare the shit out of everyone else.
That's right.
I actually must say I am slightly concerned, and I am hoping that Carlton get over Port, because of all the teams below Richmond, North are the scariest one. Even though we won't get them on the fast track at Etihad, which will be helpful, and the rain out in the weather, but they're scarier than just about anyone else who's within shot of
Port
the 8.
finished.
Yeah.
Port have finished. They're falling over the lines, whereas North has still got fuel in the tank.
That's as good a reason as any to talk about Port and Fremantle, if there's any reason at all. Do we have any reason?
Make it quick. I don't want to talk about Freo games.
All I can say is that maybe plug us onto something, because Hayden Ballantyne got gifted a goal for a ball he didn't kick.
Yeah, I saw that. He didn't look like he made connection with the ball.
In all honesty, I couldn't tell you anything that happened in this game because I don't watch Freo games because they're too boring. You alright there, Sooz? You having a choke on something?
No, it's not me.
Maybe it's Dan. It wouldn't surprise if it was a North Melbourne choke.
Thank you, Fyfie.
Us against Footscray.
Did anyone watch that? I saw that you were 60 points up or 50 points up and you only won by 7.
57 points up in the second quarter. There was 50 points at half time, and Daniel Merritt got injured, and the Bulldogs kicked a few quick goals. They did well to come back, and it got to 5 points at one point, but thankfully we steadied the ship and we got the 4 points that we needed, and we're still in the finals mix.
Oh, you're dreaming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'll be the mother of all beatdowns. The worst thing a team can do is pinch a game off Geelong. Just ask Hawthorn how badly that pinched grand final has worked since. Although they still won the game that mattered, Geelong haven't let them get them ever since.
That's right. They don't like losing.
They don't like losing when they feel that, just don't like losing at all, but they don't like losing when they feel they're better.
And just quietly, I'm throwing it out there that if you're struggling to get past Footscray at home, a game which I predicted the Bryans would win, then beating Geelong down at Skilled Stadium without Daniel Merritt, it's going to be pretty hard.
That's probably enough on Bulldogs Brisbane, I reckon. Unless there's anything else to add.
Pierce Handley is the best thing to come out of Ireland since the cause.
Yep, I agree.
Well, they are 10th, don't forget now, and North are 11th, so they're pinched out spot.
Oh, but we've got a better percentage though, Sooz.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys got better percentage.
North has a dramatically better percentage. It's like a win, like that percentage. At
40%, that's nearly almost all of Melbourne's percentage.
Seriously, I mean, I will say this though, don't be surprised if the Bryans put up a really massive fight against the Cats. Cats are going to be tired.
Realistically, that's all I ask.
I would love to see the Bryans play finals, because if Richmond finished 5th, that's like having a bye in finals, and we would need that, I think.
Well,
We've actually got finals experience though, unlike your mob.
Which players at Brisbane have finals experience? Rich and Patfull.
Actually, all the players who were there in 2009, pretty much.
I would have said the coach, but he's no longer there.
Actually, Mark Harvey has had finals experience at Freo.
Brownie has. Jonathan
Hawthorn.
Brown's had,
Not playing.
but he's not playing. He's out injured.
How's Newman going? Is he going to actually finally break his drought?
Yeah, he's clearly in cotton wool.
So who else played over the weekend, Fyfie?
Adelaide, Melbourne. Well, honestly, I was watching on Foxtel, I was watching the Hawthorn North Melbourne game, and the score was on the bottom of the Crows game, so I wasn't paying attention. But I got up, went to the toilet, made myself a cup of tea, and in that 2 minutes, Adelaide had kicked 4 goals, and Melbourne are pathetic.
They are.
It says a lot about a club when Aaron Davey can get the kind of send-off he's getting, considering he's been a pretty ordinary footballer for the last at least 4 or 5
An ordinary good player at best.
Aaron Davies, he actually was pretty good very early in his career, so it's just Melbourne being Melbourne.
Yeah, trying to.
Yeah.
Galvanised.
If Melbourne weren't Melbourne, he would have been delisted some time ago.
Maybe. But I actually pulled something out of Jennifer's coit over the weekend.
God.
There's more.
There's more, mate. There's more. It's an endless supply.
It's a bottomless pit.
Yeah, that's a black hole. There's so much up that thing that you'll never
Don't.
see the end of it. But I heard that Aaron Davey was going to retire then. He might just come back to be a giant.
He did say in his press conference he was retiring as long as someone didn't have to give him another go. So that if that doesn't say forced retirement, nothing does. And clearly Melbourne aren't learning. Let's just piss off all the senior players every single year. Collingwood versus West Coast. West Coast, 2 weeks in a row, their lowest score at Patterson's and at the MCG.
This was such a boring, one-way, predictable result.
Wasn't it?
Yeah.
Just
Torture.
Has anyone given Spuddage shit yet about his team losing to Collingwood?
I heard he took a big piss on them.
I thought the Samurai held his own against Cox.
He looks good, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Every week.
Cox definitely did a lot more around the ground. He didn't embarrass him, but he definitely had the better off.
Yeah, but he did enough to negate the influence. And honestly, what is it with Collingwood and Friday night games this year? They put on some disappointing efforts. They Not always their fault. West Coast were rubbish, Brisbane were rubbish, and Collingwood weren't fantastic against Hawthorn. Maybe Collingwood shouldn't be playing Friday nights. Just put that out there.
It's the monopoly thing.
Maybe they're just shitting themselves because they're playing North in the last game of the.
That must be it.
Yeah, it's Eddie's afraid of Brayshaw.
Brayshaw's going to take a massive fart on Eddie's head.
I thought he was going to take his golf club to him. Brayshaw's a far more imposing president of Eddie. They don't sell Eddie Maguire badges at Collingwood. He's just not that popular.
Brayshaw has the guns, He has the ripped physique So is Brayshaw the hottest president in the AFL?
I guess he probably would be.
James Brayshaw definitely is the best president in the AFL. Just look at Gagris' old avatar.
Moving on, we've got 2 more games to go. The last one, St Kilda Gold Coast. Well, I guess all we can take out of this is that Milne retired and that Cozzy didn't play. So Milne will play his last game next week, and Cozzy, well, can he get to 200? The magical Anthony Rocker.
Worst 200-game player to have ever played.
Cozzy's retiring as well, so.
Yeah, but he's got to play 200 games.
Yeah.
He's got to play. They got to pick him. It'll be the ultimate charity game.
They need to pick him. If they don't, that'd be like it's kind of a wasted sort of season for him.
Yeah, but he's a spud. He's a massive
spud.
spud.
But he's
played 200 games.
He's played 200 games, and I reckon he's played probably less than 10% of those have been serviceable.
He was picked for 200 games.
It's quite funny because one of my cousins is a St Kilda supporter, and I'll give him so much.
Is he the coach of St Kilda?
No.
No? Okay, go on.
And anyway, I always give him shit about his club, and he's always cracking the shit with me. So it's quite funny.
But yeah, I couldn't see much out of that game. St Kilda won. It's about all there is to say.
Yeah, I didn't watch it. I mean, I don't think we even previewed this game last week.
It's getting to that stage of the year, isn't it, where some previews matter and some just absolutely don't.
I think last round, Sunday was dead rubber day, I think.
Yeah. One more thing I wanted to bring up. The AFL final scheduling, they're looking at 4 games at the MCG, which, as an MCC member, I'm stoked to possibly go to the doubleheader. That'd be fantastic. But
I think from a catering point of view, I think it's very difficult to do.
Yeah, that's what I've been hearing. That's what Ed was saying.
People coming in and out of the ground. Never worked.
And how do you get the people out of the ground that were there previously?
You'd have to kick them all out. That'd be the only way to do it.
I just hide in the toilet.
You make them sign a waiver before they go in the ground.
I mean, I'm an AFL member, so I'd probably go to 2 or 3 of those games. I'd love to see it, but I don't think it's doable.
I'd go to all 4 that weekend if that was the case, but the butt hurt's going to be massive when it comes around and Geelong play Fremantle and Etihad, because you know how it's going to go.
They should be playing at Cardinia Park, in all honesty.
No, they shouldn't. It's a shit old ground. Don't ridiculous. They're like playing in Ballarat.
Well, Ballarat's halfway between Geelong and Melbourne.
It is if you have
All right. Why don't we talk about next week's games and the permutations going into the final?
Hang on, I wanted to say one more thing about scheduling. The Waffle have gone and booked Subiaco for the second week of finals for a rugby game on the Saturday night, which is likely to be when Fremantle, so long as they don't roll Geelong again, which would be humorous for many, if they don't roll Geelong again, would be when they would be booked to play a home final on the Saturday night.
They're just playing the Friday night instead.
No, it's a 5-day break for Collingwood or North or whoever plays on the Sunday, which can't happen.
What an absolute clusterfuck of a decision. Hang on, when was that decision made?
I don't know, but they had the same problem last year because from memory, West Coast and North played on the Sunday.
Yeah, it was meant to be on Saturday night, and Geelong against Fremantle was meant to be on Sunday.
But it moved because West Coast versus North Melbourne, there was a game once again at Subiaco on the Saturday night.
Didn't the Waffle sort of realise that they've got 2 teams that were most likely going to be in the finals, and that clash probably would have happened if they had that rugby game on the Saturday?
Yeah, they should have, especially after last year, they should have realised it. The funniest thing is Eddie Maguire is of the opinion that 7 won't let them play it on the Sunday. That can't be on the Friday because it gives Collingwood a 5-day break. So, according to Eddie, Fremantle's home ground isn't available, so they'll play him at the MCG.
So,
of course Eddie would say that.
I love Eddie. He's got huge balls.
When I heard him say that, I was like, sometimes he's hard to read. He says shit to stir. I was like, is Eddie trolling or is he just being really Collingwood right now?
He's just being Collingwood.
So Essendon were given their bans today, which overall, in my opinion, were pretty much as warranted, I thought. There was one or two sticking points which we're going to get to, but overall the ban from finals, the Herd ban and loss of draft picks and the fine were pretty substantial, and I was satisfied with those. But what do we think about the rest? Is everyone else overjoyed about the fact that the Messiah is now going to be known as a fraud?
And while we're still in the hunt for the finals.
Yeah, but nobody cares about the Brian.
All I can say is that I'm a bit disappointed that Bomber Thompson's getting away with just a fine.
Why do you say that?
Because he coached Geelong.
I thought it was a weird punishment not to give him the wooden spoon, not to dock their points, and just to get him to finish ninth. I thought that was very odd, but I'm not complaining because my team's still in the finals hunt.
I think that was on the cards to put them last, but I think Essendon negotiated hard to have them finish ninth. It looks better than finishing last, I suppose.
Yeah, it's
What
true.
a bunch of jams they are down at Essendon. Seriously, all I care about is how it looks. Seriously, that is them down to a T. What a shallow football club. Just don't want to look like we finished last.
It was a very sneaky effort from them, and you know they managed to get out of it in that sense that they're not the first team to ever lose points. They're stripped to finals, but for anyone who wants to, and I've already screenshotted this, it's fantastic, but you go to the AFL website Premiership Ladder, and in ninth place are Essendon with 56 points and an asterisk. So it is an official asterisk next to their name. That will never be changed.
It really does draw a line underneath their season. Whatever they say, that asterisk is there. You cheated, and by cheating you brought the game into disrepute. You cheats, it's a fact.
It's there forever.
Yep.
There's no weaseling out of it like you little pea-hearted scumrag James Hurd that you are. You couldn't face up to the public and the media. I mean, this guy called himself a captain and a coach of that football club. He's a pathetic human. He really is. And honestly, I reckon he's got off lightly. That guy should have got a life ban.
Just wasn't that incriminating as anything, and that Hurd's been taking injections to give himself erections. Just redacted.
Isn't it just sort of saying, hey, if you have a bit of shrinkage and a bit of erectile dysfunction, you're probably taking steroids back in the day, seeing as they're side effects of the roids?
Possibly.
Well, I got the impression after watching the press conference that the AFL were going to go a lot harder than what they did, but it was because of Essendon's willingness to plead for softer penalties that they only got the $2 million fine and the loss of points and loss of picks for this year and next year.
Was that not the biggest backflip of all time, if anyone saw the presser from Little?
Yeah.
In how much responsibility and how much of an admission he was making that Essendon did the wrong thing, considering where he was a week ago and everything he was saying. That was just bizarre.
Yeah, he just said Saturday night that Essendon weren't cheats, so...
Yeah, they actually managed to word drug cheats out of it, but that's going to be all meaningless if Asada do issue infractions. So
Do you know what? It's quite clear that Little was drinking the Kool-Aid down at Jamestown, and then when he finally got to hear the other side of the story, within a week, it was like total backflip, you know? Because, I mean, I've called the guy a bit of a pea-heart, but in reality, I don't think he's a soft operator, you know, Little. I think he's a bit of a pipe-hitting.
redacted.
And, you know, obviously...
You can't say that.
Oh, well, Quentin Tarantino said it in Pulp Fiction. So at any rate, like, clearly Hurdy's talking a lot of crap to a lot of people, and you know, when the truth comes out, it looks like a tool bag.
Yeah, that's basically it. I think that Little kind of listened to Hurd's side of the story and then thought that, oh yeah, everyone else in the AFL community would believe Hurd and would believe Essendon, and then he got the biggest wake-up call of all time when the 17 other clubs went to the AFL last week and told him, basically showed him publicly, no, we don't back you.
Yeah, I don't know what they were thinking. Anyone with sort of half a brain and the ability to think for themselves quickly walks away from Hurd, basically.
Yep.
It's only absolute morans like Robbo at the Hun. You know, you read the tackle on Monday, it's little more than an Essendon fanzine. You know, the guy is a half-wit, and really, journalistic integrity is in very short supply around at the Robinson household.
Robbo's been drinking the Kool-Aid awfully hard. He's taken it pretty badly. You should have seen some of his questions in the press conference, questioning about Hurd's assertions, all these assertions from Hurd that no one else has backed up. Robbo treating them as fact. You know, he's about the only one who still thinks Hurd's told the truth.
Yeah,
Actually,
I mean,
but this whole Herd saga, to a degree, reminds me of Warner denying about the aliases that he created to like his own post.
You're saying one is as bad as James Hurd?
I'm saying James Hurd reminds me of Warner denying that he likes his own post, even when the evidence has been given out that he does.
I really feel that people like Robbo are pretty dishonest. You know, some people might call him a fat, pathetic, drunken bullhead. to say is plain dishonest.
Pack a day smoker.
Whatever you think, look, it needs to be said that the young boys at Essendon, if any of them get cancer or die under strange circumstances later in life, you know, Robbo, enjoy the blood on your hands. Sam Newman, enjoy the blood on your hands.
Kevin Sheedy.
Kevin Sheedy, of course. I mean, it all started with him. He's a freak of nature. Enjoy the blood on your hands. I reckon those people, their integrity and their standing in the football community must be at an absolute all-time low.
But yeah, another thing on this whole Essendon saga that I find is absolutely hilarious is that Hurd is intent on returning and coaching finals next year, which if someone comes in and perhaps takes Essendon to finals next year, the handover of that will put Fig Jam and Malthouse to shame, because what kind of coach who's going to have coached for 21 rounds is going to go, hey, I'm happy to hand over my potentially 15-6 team to the golden boy who's coming back into coach? You know, I can't see that but going smoothly.
I can't see it happening.
Oh, God. Oh, jeez, guy. I'm getting the horn on here. I think Sheedy might come back, and then there's going to be massive, blue between him and Hurdler.
Oh, no.
You know, and Essendon will be, having a big drag-out beat down in public. Seriously, the thought of that just drives me crazy. Let that happen.
So you wouldn't mind having Sheedy come back to Essendon Wrangler?
He wants to see Sheedy get embarrassed in whatever way possible, or that's how he sees it.
I want to see Essendon get embarrassed by Sheedy and Hurd having a public stoush, basically.
Could be on the cards.
Tell me that's not footy porn right there.
I think it's great. We have a guilty verdict. No matter what they tried to bring it down to, Essendon are tainted. There is still potential infraction notices, possibly because of the thymosin beta and perhaps other drugs.
Does anyone know what it is that they got from Mexico?
No one.
Some muscular dystrophy drug, but no one's quite sure. So that's one of the things. Like, if there could be more punishment. There may be scope for more punishment if there actually are infraction notices at the club. Fall guilty on more charges. I'm not sure. That might be in the fine print no one knows about, but it'll be very interesting to see.
Vlad might have just been opening up their ring with a little bit of digital foreplay there, and Asada might yet deliver the massive
knockout blow.
Yeah.
But yeah, the AFL have fined them significantly, $2 million in fact. So just spitballing, we're thinking of top 5 ways the AFL could spend that money. So we'll go with number 5.
They've injecting moves at Windy Hill.
Number 4.
The AFL commissioned to go on a trip to Mexico during the off-season.
Number 3, a decent grand final entertainment. They could spend it on that. Get someone better than Meatloaf and whoever else they've had. Number 2, Sooz.
BT to have a fart bomb under his desk.
What's number 2 actually say?
Hair transplants for KB.
And number 1, Wrangler.
The number one thing that the AFL should spend the Essendon Football Club's money on is reprogramming for the residents of Jamestown.
That's desperately needed because they've been just shocking. They're a bit like Plugger and the umpires, kind of.
No more Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
Group delusion at one of its most insane levels.
Too many erection drugs. This week on the Bay, throughout the week, we were pretty spoilt this week. I reckon there were 3 pretty good efforts, but Westy Bogans, the blonde coach from Toorak, I think it is, the story, fantastic, throw of the year contender. What more can you say?
I haven't read that one yet, but I'll have a look.
It's a ripping yarn, Dan. I recommend it.
Honourable mentions go to fellow member Paddles for his appropriation of Radiohead's 15 Step for 15 Drugs, I think it was. The other one, the final one, is DMC 333, I think it is, and it's Essendon supporters say the darndest things, because that's one hell of a read.
Oh, that was brilliant.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
I actually prefer that over the blonde one.
It's funny because it's real. It's legitimate. It's just...
I like the one about people who suffered more than James Hurdle. That was fantastic.
Do we have a flog of the week? I had one suggestion. It's a third load of Mackie now that he's been banned for melting down all over his profile wall.
And you'll be listening to this too.
Yeah, he's Grizz allowed him to view, but not post.
That's fantastic.
I hear it's quite a punishment, but yeah, just from last week's poll, which...
Did we have one?
Yeah, you did. I think it was about me. Yeah, why did I miss last week's vlogcast? General soreness, 31%, 23% for squibbed it, and 46% said Jack Watts slashed my tyres. And we'll look to next week. There aren't too many games of importance. The biggest one is probably Carlton versus Port.
I don't often say this, but come on, Port Adelaide, established 1870. Come on, Port.
Established 1996.
Look, I think Port are really, like, Wingard's hurt, you know, they're really struggling. They're just sort of stumbling, you know, drunkenly to the finishing line. I don't think they're going to play a very big part in finals. They're just looking absolutely worn out. They're a young team, on and off, week to week, and I personally think Carlton, as pathetic as they were last week, surely are a chance to get up.
I think Carlton come out and play. Malthouse is pretty good at motivating the players, and I think Port don't have a whole lot to play for. There's entrenched in the 8. It was locked in last week it's been locked in basically by Essendon. Port are safe, and I think they'll rest up pretty easy, and Carlton will play for it.
Yeah, I think Carlton will win this one. I'll be going for Port, but I think Carlton will win.
Collingwood versus North, probably the next biggest one. This one, North win and Carlton lose, and that's basically the ball game, I'd say.
It's outside, mate. There's no roof. So we open ourselves to the elements, and the bad weather is our kryptonite. So
It's supposed to be a sunny day on Sunday anyway.
nah, it doesn't matter, Sooz. If we're
I was gonna
outside,
say,
we can't play.
It's 25 degrees Sunday.
What do you reckon Brad will say if North lose this one from a leading position again, out in the weather?
You've got the inside knowledge there, don't you, Suze? You know how he thinks.
I think what he would probably say is he would probably just, you know, he'd probably make some sort of shitty excuse up or something. That, you know, doesn't matter. He's like he made a shitload of excuses anyway. You know, blaming other people, blaming the wet weather. I remember when we played, I think it was the Bulldogs or even Geelong. It started raining. He was like, it started raining and then we didn't have the roof that Eddie had, and then went bonkers at everyone. So it's quite.
I'm a little surprised by this. I thought you'd be showing a bit more support for Brad.
Stand by Brad.
A bit more mutual respect.
I'm supportive of him, but
Well, you didn't sound all that convincing just now.
Threw him under the bus, Suze.
Yeah.
it's just that it's quite funny because like we know that we're not going to make it, so it's probably
Well, not with that attitude.
we probably won't. You know, like you can't really worry about what Essendon's things are going to be. You've just got to sort of wait and see what happens there. But you know, you just concentrate on what you do. You know, that's the sort of thing, because the Essendon thing's out of our control.
They're gone, though.
Suze,
Yeah,
if you
we
wake
can't
up Sunday and Port have won and the Bryans have not won, and all you have to do is beat Collingwood, how are you going to feel? What's Brad Scott going to be
If we
thinking?
make it, we make it. But if we don't, we don't. That's that. I'm very wary of Collingwood because I know what they can do, and that's exactly what Brad feels. It's exactly what I feel too.
Right.
Take our word for it. She knows.
So if both teams fail to win, Carlton will make it probably by percentage.
Yep.
If everyone loses. And you know what? I have a strange feeling everyone may lose.
I got a feeling that'll happen too. And Carlton will make it with 10 wins. Who would have thought that in an 18-team competition?
Carlton are a bit of a bogey side for who? Richmond. I reckon the Tigers will be filling their DAX first weekend playing Carlton on the G.
Holdhouse will pick Bootsma. There's one other big game. It shouldn't have too much of a bearing. There's a couple of other games, but this one's the biggest one. This is the Bay's favourite game of the week. It's Hawthorn versus Sydney in the first ever Gay Pride game.
And I love my gay footballers. Let me throw that out there.
Hawthorn have had quite a few, and I think it's great that they're representing the 47% at Hawthorn. And the rumour is that Bosk is going to be a special guest there to toss the coin, and after the game he's going to toss Adam Goods in the showers.
Apparently the story here is he's going to be tossing the best on ground. He's going to toss the bog.
You think that's a good idea, Suze?
That's actually very, very funny.
Would you like to see that?
Yeah, I would.
Oscar's jizzing
That'd
himself.
actually be really funny.
What is it with North Melbourne supporters and watching people get off
I don't know.
paganism?
We just like to give him shit. We just like to hang so much shit on people. It's so funny.
I think that Sue's reference to seeing Boss choke the chicken is pretty interesting. Does anyone actually want to tip a winner out of the Swans and Hawthorn in the Gay Pride game?
I think gay rights will be the real winner.
Yeah.
And Bosk will be the big loser when he gets banned.
I think Boss will surprise you all. I think he's grown greatly over the years, and I don't think he will be at all fazed by Hawthorn and Sydney playing off in the gay round.
I bet you we see a red card worthy threat sometime Thursday or Friday. Paddles' favourite game. We got their Paddles. Nobody thinks you're a hope in hell, but give us your spiel. Why can the Bryans... Yeah.
To be honest, I'm just happy that we've got very, very small, admittedly, chance of making finals. We're obviously going to get trashed by Geelong. We've got no chance whatsoever. It's Geelong, they're going to destroy us. We've got no chance. Might as well just book my flight to Europe. But I reckon it would be great for the playing group to have a must-win game against Geelong. Because, like, obviously to win premierships, you need to beat the best anywhere, unless if you're Collingwood, get all that love from the AFL.
I'd be
Yeah,
starting
I reckon just have a must-win game against them. If we can put up a good fight, then I'll be happy. If we win, then that'll be great, even if Tankers win as well. But I reckon it'll be a good experience for the playing group.
All right, the other game is St Kilda Fremantle. Look, could Ross Lyon troll St Kilda one more time and ruin Milne and Cozzie's day? I think he does.
I reckon Freo will win this easy. Next.
Rio.
And I think everyone picked Geelong, even Paddles, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Essendon versus Richmond. Well, Richmond playing in the first ever game where points don't matter.
It's going to be a dead rubber, which is going to make it interesting.
Points will still sort of matter for Richmond, but just not for Essendon.
Yeah, can't really do much for us, though, unless Collingwood lose, it doesn't really matter.
It's going to be an interesting game. I mean, despite it being a dead rubber, I think Essendon have something to play for.
I reckon Richmond will win by the amount of KFC that KFC boy eats. The amount of KFC buckets.
So what, we're going to win by 120 points again?
Yeah, why not?
I reckon the Tigers have nothing to play for is the trouble.
Neither do they. They played their grand final last week. Hurd won't be coaching this week either.
But wait, Collingwood, if they win, then they go into fifth if Richmond don't win.
So that's a little something to play for.
But actually, as a Lions fan, even though it's unlikely, if we do manage to sneak in the finals, it'll be win-win either way for us, because we'll either get to play Richmond or the Scum. Nothing would be better than beating the Scum in finals, but it would be awesome to troll Richmond by finishing ninth, making it there, and then beating Richmond.
Yeah,
You would not get close to either.
yeah, and Lord of the Rings is fucking non-fiction, and, you know, I'm rooting Elle McPherson on the weekend. It's not going to happen. Like, Fyfie, I just want to ask you one quick question. Would you prefer to play Port Adelaide or Carlton first weekend? Because if you lose, you could be up against Port quite easily.
I think Port Adelaide, but I feel pretty comfortable playing just about anyone who's mathematically in the running. The least comfortable I feel of all of them is North. That's the only one I kind of err over, but we would get them outside. The other ones I feel pretty confident despite the Carlton loss.
I'm throwing this right out here. I think North are a dead set chance. Mate, I think the only thing that's hurting North is I think after playing Hawthorn, they're absolutely shattered because they were exhausted at the end of that game.
Western Bulldogs Melbourne's a bit of a nothing game. Doggy should win easy. Is that?
Yep, Dogs.
Gold Coast should do GWS easy.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep, Sheedy's last game ruined. Jeremy Cameron. Let's hope he kicks 8 though, although
Yeah.
Wrangler probably doesn't.
No.
West Coast Adelaide has finals implications, but not really. West
No.
Coast.
West Coast.
Adelaide.
All right, so this was the vlogcast for round 23. Fyfie joined by the Cat Wrangler,
Keep wrangling.
Dan,
See you later.
Paddles,
Bye.
and new edition Sooz.
Catch you later.
Awesome.
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 Grouse.